I would argue to say bike maybe an hour a day. Now, it is an e-bike at the same time, so you can also argue that you're not putting in the same amount of effort. Like, gotta do a cup of water. Yeah. Sorry, ADHD, whatever. You could easily argue, well, but it's a e-bike, so I don't have to put in that much effort, but, you know, anything is better than nothing, right? Something. Just a little bit of cardio somewhere. I know a lot of people will be like, no, time to head home. I got my pump, I got my lift, time to head out. But, you know, shit. If it's just like, I'd say even 5 minutes, do like 5 minutes a day, it's something. Right? Because you obviously, you don't want to be doing like 10 kilometers, right? Everybody wants to be Saitama, but can you keep up with that every single day, staying motivated, staying with the discipline? Of course not. Eventually you're going to reach the point of burnout, and then it's like, okay, well, now that I'm burnt out, I haven't done cardio in almost a month. Or, you know, it's like, you got to do what you can do and then build up from there. There's a very select few kinds of people that can just go deep end first and survive, right? And the thing is more often than not, when you look at those people, it's like, okay, they had some sort of experience going into it regardless, so they technically had the experience with the deep end anyways. It's when you've never swam at the deep end, you gotta possibly start with the kiddie side for most people, which it's an interesting analogy for me, because I remember my parents just threw me in the water and they're like, swim boy. They weren't gonna let me drown, but, you know, they took away the perceived safety net, which forced me to sink or swim quite literally. So, you know, I guess there's always nuance to it, but you want to do something you're capable of doing for a long time and then build upon it as we go. Not know, you know, you're not gonna choose to start hiking and choose your first mountain as K2. Like, I mean, some of you are crazy like that, and you'll try, but you're not gonna make it to the top. Yeah? Cardio, though. You know, I keep saying you know. Do you really know? No, that's just my way of saying, like, you know, is my way of, like, adding on to the end of a sentence to make you feel less awkward when I don't know how to end it, I guess. But, cardio. If I talk about the cardio, then maybe I'll hate it less. I don't really hate cardio, but I feel like, I don't know. It's just one of those things you've got to do. Rarely ever enjoy it. Like, I want to go home and game right now, but I gotta finish the task before me, you know? Even when I go home, I gotta shower up, gotta do my laundry. It's just life, you know? Cardio should be one of those non-negotiable tasks that you have to get up to regardless. Like, yeah, I want to play games, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. But like, for brushing your teeth, you gotta always do your cardio. Wearing deodorant, waking up in the morning, it's a non-negotiable. Do your cardio. It's a very unflattering angle for me. But what can you do? This will be the first attempt at a gym vlog, so pump this out, watch it over myself, see how it feels, and then, you know, we add it to the long collection of things that I will build upon. Because I was going to say improve upon, but to build upon sounds less negative, right? To build upon, it's like saying, yes, of course, you can always improve, but like, saying that, at least in this connotation, is like, oh, almost like framing it negatively for trying, which that shouldn't be a negative thing, right? That's why it should be built upon, because we're setting the stipulations and we're setting the groundwork now so that it can be something later on. Always gotta stick with that positive, right? Because regardless of what you do, you're not gonna be good at it when you start. You just gotta be willing to suck till you suck a little less. Or something like that from Jake from Adventure Time. You're willing to suck to be bad at something. Because it's an inevitability, you know? You are going to be bad. You're always bad once. And if you were naturally good at something, that just means you have some prerequisite that the average person didn't have that made you a little better at it, right? Say you did wrestling all your life and then you join the judo team. You're technically still bad at judo, right? But you have the positive of knowing grappling already. So those skills transfer a lot easier. But you still don't know the proper rules, the proper things you gotta do, you know? It's like, you may have been good at judo because of wrestling. But chances are when you started wrestling, you weren't good at wrestling. So, truth is, regardless of what it is, if it's something completely new, non-transferable skills, you were bad at it when you first began. There's no way around it. And that's okay. Not being skillful is not a negative if you're just starting out. A lot of people compare themselves to the greats and get demotivated, but for a lot, having the courage to even try is a huge thing. Most people will never try over the fear of never being good. And then when they do try, and they have that fear of not being good, and they're bad because they just tried, they get back into that loop again where they don't even try. To sum that all up, I guess it's the idea of being good with being bad for a little bit. You're not always going to be successful at everything. And to be successful, you have to not be successful. You know, it goes hand in hand, failure and success. I think there's a quote, it's like, the successful person has failed more than the person that's not, or something like that. You know, you don't see it because you only see the success. We always ignore the negatives for, you know, the positives, but, you know, that person, that top of the echelon, go-getter, successful guy you see has failed more times than you have, you know. Well, with that said, I finish my cardio, my 10 minutes a day. Then I got a bike back home. Another 10 minutes. I biked here. So 30 minutes in one day. Not bad. Got a nice pump. Let's finish it off. Let's go.